First podcast.
How do you decide which meal plan works for someone the best? How do you come to that
Which
conclusion?
meal plan or which type of nutrition structure?
There you go. Another question. You just ask yourself another question.
Yeah. So, in terms of which type of nutrition structure, it depends on the person's personality, really, and their work schedule, and their relationship to food. Some people just view food as fuel, right? You know, it's not a big part of their day. And a lot of people as well might have, because of their work, very low decision-making power or ability.
Okay.
And if you're low on decision power, just because you're making decisions all the time, if you then have to make a decision on your food, probably going to screw it up or make a wrong decision, or it's just going to annoy you and you're going to overthink it. So people who are like that, they need to be told what they're eating and when, right? Because they don't really care whether it tastes like, you know, Gordon Ramsay recipe, and they just want to be getting the results and not stressed out in their day. So a written meal plan, whether they prep that or have a meal prep company do it, it's a different story. But then they can just eat like clockwork and get the results. And in terms of fine-tuning the calories and the macro structure, it's then based on the person's weight, based on their resistance training output, mixed with their cardio output. You know, it isn't a particular meal plan that will get the results, but it's the calorie balance, right? And also
the calorie balance, so say that the calorie balance, as I understand, is like the question is how many calories you burn and how many calories you take in.
Exactly.
So that you have that balance and that ratio. So if you
Exactly,
have more calories than you actually burn, that's where you get fat.
Exactly, yeah. But then
Simple.
there's different ways to toy with things as well, right? Like,
Well, first of all, you can't tell to your client that they're fat. I know that.
yeah,
You have to say they're big.
you can't say it. You know, they know it in their head, but you have to say, "No, look, you're doing all right." But
Oh man, you're just a big boned bro. That's just another way to call me fat. Yep.
Yeah. And then other people, right, eating and maybe going out for a meal is a really inherent part of their lifestyle that they just can't break. So they need to be given something where they have some calorie allowance for the day, and they can be flexible based on that, and they leave a calorie amount for then going for dinner. And yeah.
Wow, I like it's
Different
like so today you have to be a good boy. You have to eat this and this. Tomorrow we can eat some pasta. But yeah, I mean, it's like for me it's very difficult to accept that and understand that, because all my life I just say about, you know, just be active, do stuff. And obviously if you eat very shitty food, first of all, for me I say you eat shitty food, it's a shitty fuel, so you're not going to have good energy. So I would say like, yeah, maybe you can eat a little bit more sometimes, but then you feel sluggish, and it's all just kind of makes sense. You know, it's like I'm not going to go and eat like 3 ice creams before I do my training. You know, it's like I'm going to feel in my body shitty. I'm going to feel this aftertaste. So I go train always on an empty stomach, or if I have like maybe a cup of coffee or something. But, you know, everyone's different. And the craziest for me is like how people just, it's difficult for me to understand how people can't just watch some YouTube videos and figure out their workout stuff and like, oh, maybe I will do this and this, and they need someone for them to point them with a finger what to do.
What I call that is, I always call that the, so there's a product for everyone. So you've either got more time and less money, in which case you watch a YouTube video and you figure it out yourself. A lot of the people who I train and pay me to train them, if they had the time, they're smart people. They could probably figure it out themselves, right? But they're in a position where they don't have the time, right? And they don't have that mental space, and so they have to pay more in order to get somebody that's going to tell them how to do it. So, and that's why there's different products in online coaching, right? Like you would have, say, the bespoke online product where you're writing it bespoke for the person.
What is the definition for bespoke? You keep using it. I'm like, what the hell does
bespoke.
it mean?
So
it just sounds so fancy.
That's thrown around in the industry quite a lot, actually. Custom. Is the plan custom? And what would define whether or not a plan is custom is, A, it suits the person's schedule. It suits their ability level. it suits in ability level from a, flexibility perspective as well as a strength perspective, and it fits their body's individual predispositions. So that could be they've got a postural issue that's pulling them in a certain way,
or some kind of injuries or stuff like that.
And naturally, some people have stronger muscles that grow faster than the other. So a plan should kind of account for that, right?
And that's called bespoke. So that's something is done for them.
Yeah, you could just say it's custom. It's fully aligned to their complete individuality, and that's kind of where my speciality lies, right? Writing really bespoke stuff. So I
usually get bespoke shoes because my feet are fucked.
And you're much more comfortable in your bespoke shoes, right? Exactly. Which is why
have you seen my bespoke shorts? I just got these.
My bespoke panties.
Exactly. I'm just checking. Like we're about an hour of time chatting. So how about we have a little break, and then we back talking about nutrition stuff, which is really cool. So we are back after our little break. And the thing what we talked about in the previous segment was about nutrition. And nutrition, this is such an interesting subject because to some people, like I think I'm one of them now, where I think actually food is very simple. I feel like there's a lot of things you just stay away from, and I kind of condition my brains, my body that I don't really like them anymore. Like, talking about sweets or talking about fried stuff, talking about like McDonald's or whatever. But I know what's good, and I know it's like I eat a lot of good meat. I try to eat a lot of beef, a lot of chicken, and a lot of eggs, some veggies, and a lot of fruit. And that's where I stick to. And I mean, I'm a huge follower of Joe Rogan's, and if he says that you eat a lot of meat, a little fruit is good, then I follow it. But I do remember also when I was with Dream Boys and stuff, and a lot of guys were taking like all these different vitamins, all these pills, and I remember he was in the first year. I don't think you ever met him. His name is Santino. So I remember the first year he was touring with us. Every morning he would wake up and he would have a handful of all sorts of pills. And like only some of them were like the steroids or whatever, but the rest of them were the vitamins, the good stuff. And I'm like, this is insane. This is a half a glass of these pills you're just like swallowing. And I remember I used to take like the protein to do protein shakes and stuff. Now all I do is just eat like decent food, and I fast in the morning, and I try not to eat before I go to bed. So I try to eat, my window of food intake is from like 2 o'clock till about 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, and that's it. And that's what I've been doing for the last probably 5-6 years. In 1 year I'm 40. I feel good. I can still do all my training, all my exercise, backflips and all that stuff. So, but then you have some people you see who are like, no, I need this nutrition plan. I need to count my calories. I need to do this. And for me, it's honestly sounds like they're like reinventing bicycle. What is going on there? So be honest with me. How much of that is bullshit? What people want to hear about, you need to do this nutrition, that you take this pill, you take this pill. And then it's like me, and I know a lot of people like me who just like eat like kind of simple food, do their fasting, and they're good.
So we'll separate that into two questions. The first one will be supplements as are supplements necessary, such as the pills and whatnot. Now, I would say there's only a handful of supplements that are kind of definitely have useful benefits. If you live in the UK, you are probably deficient on vitamin D.
Yeah,
so you
which
should
is
maybe supplement vitamin D. If you're on you're trying to diet and lose weight, you might not be having that much fruit because you might not want that much sugar or carbs in your diet. So you might supplement vitamin C to keep your immune system good. And then creatine monohydrate is extremely proven for helping strength, for weight training as well. But other than those, I don't think anything is completely necessary. And protein, I say to people, don't class protein as a supplement. It's a food. It's just a more easy, convenient way of getting in protein, which you could quite easily get from chicken or beef or eggs or fish, but you're just getting it in powder form. And that could be just because, you know, you have no time to eat all day, and then you can just get that in quickly in 2 minutes just to make sure your protein's a bit higher before bed. So, yeah, all these pills and whatnot aren't necessary. Now, that guy Santino, he was bodybuilding to a really high level, right?
That's true.
Like,
Yeah.
he was pretty shredded and big.
Oh, you did meet him?
Yeah, I remember Santino, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So,
Santino, shout out, buddy.
yeah, buddy. I remember this guy.
Italian stallion.
Yeah, mate, he was proper shredded. And so, you know, his sheer amount of muscle tissue and the amount of glycogen and stuff he's constantly going through, I imagine in his little pile there was kind of like, you know, BCAAs, L-carnitines for extra fat burning and stuff, just because, you know, and some of these supplements, like, they might give you an extra 0.5%, which he was probably hunting for, right? But unless you're a competitive bodybuilder, that pill stack of 20 should only really be a pill stack of 1 or 2.
Blah, blah, blah. Bruno's Podcast.